Although, as a child, I did have a German Shepherd.
So, they're not working dogs. We'll get into that. Yeah.
What?
No, they're not.
I thought German Shepherds were,
Well, they're
because
not,
they're guardian dogs, no?
We'll get into that when their breed group comes up.
Welcome to The Woofy Show, the ultimate dog lover's digest. Meet your hosts, Brian and Magda, two dog lovers ready to help you be the best dog parent, unravel the mysteries of canine behavior, and keep you updated on the latest trends in the dog world. This podcast has something for everyone. Get ready for heartwarming stories, expert advice, and a lot of laughs.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of The Woofy Show. Today, we're going to be talking about the different dog breed groups or dog breed categories.
So I'm sure a lot of listeners and viewers will be wondering what those are.
Yeah, of course.
So please explain.
That's fine. So what they are there a way that people will categorize different dog breeds based on their characteristics, traits, and purposes for which they were originally bred for.
Okay. So what does that exactly mean?
Well, yeah. So it's pretty useful for people that might not have a dog yet, and they're looking at getting a dog and kind of learning a little bit about what traits or what kind of lifestyle they'll fit depending on what their lifestyle is. So it'll help them decide which type of dog is probably best or which type of breed of a dog is best for them. So before we begin, though, we're going to play a little guessing game between the two of us. So we both have 3 dog breeds written down or in our head and what group they belong to. Now, there are like over 200 or over 250 different dog breeds. I don't even know the official count, but there's a lot of them.
There's a lot. We try to pick like common ones, but still quite challenging.
So we're going to take turns. We're going to guess, and if you know the answer, just yell it out at home or at the gym or wherever you're listening or watching this, but play along with us. So.
Oh, no, but you haven't told us.
Oh, yes.
What are the main 7 dog breed groups?
Yeah.
Because how are people meant to know this?
Okay, fair enough. You're right. I did that one.
You skipped it.
Skipped me. So
typical extrovert talking here.
The main 7 dog breed groups are sport dogs, working dogs,
toy dogs,
herding dogs,
Terrier dogs,
Hound Dogs, and non-sporting dogs. So we're going to do a quick overview of each. In future episodes, we're going to dive like really deep into each group and have a separate episode. So if you want to know more about a specific breed group, then stay tuned for future episodes. So.
I think this episode is just going to be a quick overview, quick discussion, nothing too heavy.
Well, hopefully not. We'll see where it goes. But I guess I'll begin with the dog breed and you have to guess. So you ready?
Yeah. Okay,
go on. Now? Okay, so the first one I think is pretty easy. So we're going to go, the first one is a Brittany.
A Brittany?
Yes.
A Brittany is a sporting dog.
Okay, correct.
It's a hunting dog.
Yeah, your turn.
Okay, so I have it written down because I'm just forgetful. I've got a memory of a fish. Great Dane.
A Great Dane is considered a working dog?
You are absolutely correct.
Yes. Okay.
You're going to get one wrong. Come on. People will think we pre-recorded this. He doesn't actually know what type of dogs I have on my list.
Yeah, no. So, okay. Mine is a Great Pyrenees. It's the second one.
It's a working dog.
That's correct. A working dog. Didn't know you were going to do a working dog too. So that's fine.
There you go.
So third one, come on.
This is too easy. Stop
I know.
it.
Well, I know because some of the really complicated ones I can't even pronounce them, so I didn't want to pick them. The ones that we don't know of.
Okay. So how about a Yorkshire Terrier?
Oh, is that not a Terrier group?
Nope.
Is it not?
That was a trick question.
That was a trick. Hang on, I have to think for a second. No, you are right. But it wouldn't be. Yeah, no. Okay, I'm going to do a wild guess. We're going to say a toy dog.
Yes, it is. But you got it wrong, though.
I did get it wrong. As soon as I heard the word terrier, I just instantly thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm actually really surprised that Yorkshire Terrier is not a terrier.
Yeah.
Why is it in a toy dog? I think it's because of their size, but
maybe.
Still.
Anyway, so the last one for you, is a pug.
A pug is actually, so this is a weird one. So
okay.
Pug is a toy dog.
That's correct.
But I don't think it should be a toy dog.
Well, we'll get into what a toy dog is.
It's not particularly attractive.
Well.
Toy dogs are meant to be attractive.
Anyway, we'll get into that. But yes, you got 3 for 3. So Congratulations. And
Okay, you tell me, what dog breed group does Cavalier belong to?
that is a
Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
Oh, I forget the what's the other group? Not sport dog, not working dog. What's the next group that we're on our list?
Non-sporting group?
No. The other one.
Terrier Dogs? There's only 7 left.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's a toy dog.
Is it a toy dog?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is also weird because it has a spaniel in it.
Well, yeah. So,
And
see,
spaniels belong to
I
sporting
picked really easy ones. I
dogs.
didn't
I
think
was
we were going to
trying
have
to-
a university level exam here.
I was trying to trick you, obviously.
Well, you got me. I had no idea, and I could have guessed, but I would have guessed wrong. I was thinking of
So
something
what was
completely
your
different.
answer? None of it?
I didn't have an answer.
That was
Pass.
stupid.
Next. The point was, do we know? And like I said, over 200 dog breeds. I can't remember them all, so. But that's okay. That was fun. Not for me.
There you go.
but
You've learned something today.
There we go. So I guess we'll get started on the first group. So Magda, if you want to start us off.
Yeah, so we're going to start with obviously the best group that there is, in my opinion. That's why I'm wearing a t-shirt today
Yep.
with a dog collar, because we're going to start off with the sporting dog group, aka the hunters of the dog world.
Yep.
So sport dogs are primarily hunters. That's what they were bred for. They were bred to work alongside their humans and to help them find, flush out and retrieve mainly birds, but also other small animals.
Okay.
So some of the examples of dogs that belong within that group are retrievers, pointers, setters, and spaniels.
Okay.
So if you
That's
notice,
a big difference. Yeah. I mean, that's a
so
broad
they're-
range from like a retriever to a spaniel. You think of the golden or the Labrador retriever.
Well,
duck
some
toller.
of them are more domesticated than the
Yeah.
others, right? But they do share a lot of similar characteristics in terms of like the fur, for instance. So all of the dogs within that group have a double coated coat to help them retrieve things from the water.
Okay.
So
All of them.
Yeah,
Really?
all of them.
Even like a lab? Mm-hmm. Wow.
I think so. I'm gonna now sound stupid
Yeah.
if that's not true.
I mean, like I said, this is a
I'm
general
gonna check that
overview,
out
but
yet.
yeah.
But yeah, they're
Fair enough.
hunting dogs.
Yeah, okay. No,
and
that's
also,
fine.
all hunting dogs, if you have not noticed, have floppy ears in order to help them keep their elements out of their ears when
like
they're
water and stuff.
hunting through the grass field
Yeah.
or water, right?
Well, yeah, like branches and grass
Yeah,
and
because there's all the crap on the floor, and
Yeah.
dogs go rummaging through trying to find the animals, so it just helps them to keep the stuff away.
So it is interesting, though. It's called a sport dog, though. So you would think, like I know, yeah, they're we're bred for hunting, but yeah, you would think sports, which I guess they're also good at.
No, so actually this occurred to me just now,
Okay.
that the reason why, well, that's not actually official, but this is just my opinion. The reason why they're called sport dogs is because they were bred to literally work with the human in order to achieve a common goal, which is exactly what you do when you do sports. It's you and your dog
I guess
working
hunting is
towards one
considered.
thing.
I guess hunting is considered a sport as well,
Well,
though.
yeah,
Like
if
now,
you
like
think about
modern
it.
day
Yeah.
thing, like people. Yeah, it's I guess in a sense, depending on what type of hunting you do.
Yeah.
Our
So there you
opinion,
go.
though, we're not avid hunters or anything, so yeah, we don't.
Yeah,
know.
but so because they work, like they have that trait of working with a person alongside them, it makes them really good family dogs,
Okay, yeah.
because they're very eager to please. They're the type of dogs that are like, oh, tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Well, yeah, you think of a golden retriever, or Labrador, which was until recently the most popular dog or pet in North America until
Yeah.
this year. I believe
So because
okay.
they are so eager to please you as your owner, they are very easy to train.
Okay.
which
Yep.
is what makes them really good at sports.
Yes.
So if this is something you want to do with your dog, you know, if you plan on getting a dog and you want to get into sports, obviously get a sporting dog.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're good listeners, I believe. I mean,
Yeah.
just based on our experience with a sport dog, yeah, she's a very good listener.
So yeah, they're also like a really good companions for active families, so that those type of lifestyle will fit them best. If they're not, then the sporting dog group has tendencies of becoming quite destructive.
Okay.
Our
That's one
dog
of, like,
doesn't.
That's one of like the negatives, I guess, of
Yeah.
them. I mean, yeah. So we'll be going through a little bit of like a pro and con or a positive thing of them.
So
and
one of the
things.
negatives is that it's said that they require daily exercise and mental stimulation, which is true, but I also believe that sporting dogs should and do have an off switch, right? So
Yeah.
it's, you know, if we don't do something for the day, it's not the end of the world.
Exactly. I guess it all depends on how you train your dog. It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
breed or group it's in. It's all the same. So.
It's nice to do with them, and like it's said that if they don't get that mental stimulation, they don't get the daily exercise, they can become quite destructive. So
Awesome.
that's one of the negatives of this dog group.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to cover on the sporting dog for now? Just a general overview? No, I think that's,
I don't want to
explains
go
enough.
too deep because
No,
we
we'll
are
get-
going to do,
yeah.
you know, another episodes going deeper. So that's, I
Yeah, and
think,
that's the
quite
dog
nice.
we have. That's Maple, so we kind of understand, and that's the lifestyle that we live, is having a dog like that. But that's awesome. We'll move on to the next one, which is a working dog, which is pretty much exactly what it says. It's a dog that has a job to do. It's meant to do some sort of task or job. So, for example, it's like pulling sleds or carts. They guard livestock. They guard homes, businesses. So think like guard dogs or sled dogs, things like that. They also might be used for water rescue or alpine rescue. So like up in the mountains to find lost
They
people.
seem like really useful dogs.
Well, they're meant to work. So, yeah, it's just, you know, they're pretty crazy dogs.
So
And
give us some examples.
so some examples are obviously Siberian Huskies, so the sled dogs, boxers, Rottweilers, Dobermans, which would be more the guard dog. You have Newfies, or like the Newfoundland. What is a Newfie called?
Newfoundland dog, no? Just
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I just know them as Newfies. I can't remember the official. Yeah, I think it's just Newfoundland. I didn't know if there was anything after that.
Newfoundland
Which I think those are
dog.
good for, more of the rescuing kind of thing. So depending on which kind of breed you get, they have a lot of different things, and their energy levels are dependent on kind of what tasks they have. So obviously something like a Husky or a Newfie, it probably has more energy than, say, a Boxer or like a Rottweiler, because they're meant to guard and just kind of
Yeah.
stay stationary, you know. And everyone knows, whether you watch movies or you always see the beware of dog signs, and it's like, usually a Rottweiler, Doberman, like the, not the stereotype, but the scary looking dogs, because that's the point of them, you know, because they are guard dogs. But one good thing about them is they are obviously loyal protectors, which is good even for families. Seen tons of videos actually on, I don't know, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, of kids that are outside playing, and you'll see like a stray dog coming and towards the kids, and you'll see, I don't know whether it was a Doberman or Rottweiler coming to stop. I don't know if you've seen any of those videos.
No,
Oh, they're
I
actually
haven't.
pretty crazy.
But I'm not on TikTok
I
as
guess.
much as you are.
Fair
so.
enough. But so you do see a lot of they're more like the guard dog kind of type.
But yeah, Rottweilers are apparently like sweethearts with their own family. But yeah, they have tendency
well, you know
of
one
keeping
that
other
does
dogs away and
dock
stuff.
diving.
Oh,
Funny
yeah.
enough. Yeah.
He's cute.
Yeah, he's
He's not scary at all.
I forget his name.
Same with Dobermans.
Yeah.
Dobermans are really
Yes.
like calm dogs, but I guess they have to
Yeah,
be
so
trained to be
obviously
that
they're
way.
bred for something, but it doesn't mean that you can't use them for something else, which is, again, the other pro is they're versatile.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's a shame that working dogs no longer really work.
yeah. Well, some of them do. I mean, because you have Huskies, which are, obviously, if you're in Alaska and stuff like that, they're still working. But you have like the regular families that have Huskies, and
I know,
I've
but
heard
they
they're a
should
lot
make
of work.
them work.
Yeah, I know, because they are like so stubborn. Well, and that's okay. So speaking of stubbornness, that's one of the negatives or one of the cons, as they may become very stubborn if they don't have a job. Again, I'm going to go back to social media. The amount of Husky videos I see where the Husky wants to go one way
Oh, yeah.
and the owner wants to go the other way, and the husky just lies there. They're not small little dogs, you know?
Yeah.
So...
I know, but like, I wouldn't think of a husky to be stubborn, though.
Oh, they can be.
Yeah.
I've seen some pretty funny videos. But then they also need consistent training because they are very stubborn. So you kind of have to be like, you know, on their case all the time to make sure they're training. And then I guess another kind of for more of where they fit in and what kind of lifestyle. So because of their size and strength, like most of them, they do require a bit more of a structured home life and then a bit more of a firm and like fair kind of training kind of regimen. So they do involve a lot more work, but in a different way than say a sport dog does. So they have to be...
So would you say like a working dog's not really suited for like a novice owner?
Well, see, it's hard to say that because I know so many people get huskies as their first dog. So I feel like a husky is weird that it falls in that category.
Owners get huskies and then they put, you know, a harness on it and then they wonder why they pull. And it's just like...
That's literally what they're bred for.
Yeah.
It's like putting a harness on your husky. You're encouraging them to
pull. And then you wonder why they're pulling.
Yeah, that's so true.
You have a husky and you put a harness on it.
I forgot about that. So, yeah, they are a bit, and because they're bigger, they do involve a lot of work. I mean... I can't imagine having a working dog as our first dog. Maybe in the future we could do it. I mean, it's not the type of lifestyle we live. But yeah, I couldn't imagine it. So
although as a child, I did have a German Shepherd.
So they're not working dogs. We'll get into that. Yeah.
What?
No, they're not.
I thought German Shepherds were because they're guardian dogs.
No, we'll get into that when their breed group comes up. I was hoping you were going to bring that up. I was going to catch you out. That's why I didn't want to ask you that on our little quiz because I wanted to talk about them actually. Funny enough, so they are not working dogs, although they are. People think they are, but we'll get to what group they belong in.
I want to hear more
soon.
About it. But anyway,
yeah. Well, I'll be talking about them specifically. In another group. But
so is there anything else you would like to share about working dogs?
Not really. I think that's kind of just a quick summary. Like I said, they are kind of bigger, stronger dogs. So not meant for everyone, but you know, if you live that kind of lifestyle or you have that job for them or you want them to guard your home or business or something like that, or you love...
Or a farm? Would they like guard your farm?
Yes. So they can. They do guard livestock as well. So they're not a herding dog, but they can be the guard dog for the livestock. So, yeah, depending on what you need them for.
That's interesting. Yeah. I didn't think it was. It was just like a stupid question.
No, that's okay.
It wasn't stupid after all.
There you go. See, this is why
we're learning.
Well, of course we are.
Something.
And we hope everyone that's listening is learning too, obviously.
Yeah.
And if we miss anything, you know, again, this is just a general overview. Like I said, we're not trying to target everything. And we know there's dozens more breeds. We're just kind of talking about the popular ones that people would know of that are in those groups. So
I mean, it's useful to know, you know.
Right.
So anyway, next dog group that we have is toy dogs, which are basically AKA the small breeds with big personalities, and they're known to be fashionistas of the dog world.
I've never heard that before. You were literally, when you told me that, I was like, what? And I get it, but when you said that, I was like, that's so funny. I've never heard that, but it makes sense. But I guess because we're not in that world with what we have, so I didn't know that. So.
Well, there you go. Now you know.
Yeah.
But we do take care of little Maltese, and she always has something on her, like a little jacket or a little sweater.
Well, it's winter too, so obviously it makes sense.
It is. So, like, I don't judge because it's winter, but at least she's not wearing little booties or anything like that. Not yet, anyway. Yeah. She's only a puppy. So anyway, toy dogs were... Some of them were bred actually to catch small rodents. However, most of them were purely bred to be pampered and to be your lap dog. That's literally the job, to look pretty and just sit on your lap.
Well, that's what you see. You look at, I mean, this is going back in the day, but like Paris Hilton, who had I guess it was a Chihuahua or something like that.
Yeah,
and you always see
I think she has so I heard recently, I didn't know about this, but there's a rumor that she has cloned that Chihuahua a couple times. I don't know if it's true.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
Interesting.
it's like a
But
statement dog.
But yeah, I guess they're considered like the handbag dogs or purse dogs. Not all of them, I guess.
Yeah,
but.
so they were meant to, like, literally the reason why they were bred and, like, I guess certain things were selected within those dogs is to look as appealing as possible. So that's just funny. So one of the, you know, I don't know how appealing Chihuahuas are. Like, they're not particularly beautiful.
Well, in our opinion, but you know, that's just
or
us.
pugs.
Yes, which is not. Yeah, you wouldn't consider a pug as like a handbag dog or something like that.
Pugs, Chihuahuas, Pomeranians, toy poodles,
Yeah.
and Maltesers, Chinese crested dogs. They're all toy dogs.
Shih Tzu a toy dog? Do you know off the top of your head? Okay.
Yes,
because
a
that's
Shih
the
Tzu
dogs
is a
we
toy
both had
dog.
growing up as well. Were Shih Tzus.
Yeah.
So I couldn't. Yeah, that makes
Which
sense.
makes sense.
Yeah.
They were literally just like a long
I can't
hair.
remember her being so small, but because I was really young, so
know.
it's like, you know, when you think of toy dog, you think this little thing like the little Maltese you can pick up with a finger, to be honest. So I was like, I remember my Shih Tzu, and I thought she was kind of big, but maybe because I was like 7 years old.
But I thought my Shih Tzu was quite big.
So maybe it's just because we were quite
apparently,
small.
maybe not.
We haven't seen one in a while, actually. So.
I think I've seen
it's all
one
the
not
fur
too long ago.
or the hair or whatever
Yeah.
they have. I think that's what makes them seem like.
I don't
big.
actually think Shih Tzus have fur,
It's
technically.
hair,
I
yeah.
think it's hair.
Anyway,
I don't know.
sure, we'll get into that in the future.
But yeah,
episode.
well, the main characteristics is obviously that they are super playful and cuddlesome. So they would literally be quite comfortable and content just to sit around with you all day and not quite do much, to be honest.
I guess they don't involve a lot of.
Although they do have quite lively and like upbeat personalities.
Yes.
But they just like not really into, you know, going for large hikes or anything like that, or having a job. It's not really in their
No, I mean, our
description.
Shih Tzu, we would just like walk around the block, and that was enough. That was hard for her, you know.
Oh yeah, I used to just go outside, you know, a couple times, like literally 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and that was okay for her. Which is, you know, so they're a very low maintenance dog and perfectly suited for apartment living.
Yep.
They're also really good, like novice dog owners. So if you,
for like a first dog.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, yeah.
pretty low maintenance. So and their job in general is the biggest job that there is for a dog, which is to be a great companion.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically like, I'm actually like quite jealous over toy dogs because I wish sometimes that I could flip my fingers and turn Maple into a toy dog so I could just carry her with me at all times, just put her in my pocket and, you know, take her to...
I know. Yeah, you go to like a grocery
grocery
store or
store.
whatever, or you go shopping and you'll see them like in people's jackets or something like that, and it's
I'm
like
I'm
it's adorable.
so jealous.
Yeah.
Like, part of me doesn't agree with it. Like, you know, there's a sign on the door saying no dogs allowed.
Yeah.
Why do you have a dog in your coat? But part of me is
Jealousy.
like jealous. Like, I really want to do that
Yeah.
as well. I want to take my dog to grocery store, you know, and I'd want to just take her out to all these places where dogs are not allowed. So, yeah, that's one of the, I guess, advantages of a toy dog. And the disadvantage is connected to that is the fact that they are pretty fragile. So, you know, if you accidentally drop it or, you know,
They like jump off a surface that's too high up.
they can very easily break themselves.
Well, the Maltese that we dog sit sometimes, she just like
But she's crazy.
Yeah.
She's like so much energy, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm worried you're gonna break
like
yourself.
fall down the
She's so
stairs or something. I
fragile.
know, you like pick her up and it's like, what? Like, I'm scared. I know what you
Yeah.
mean. And then, but also our dog is like a miniature tornado, so it's a bit different. Where she'll
Yeah.
run right into the wall by accident and be like, yep, I'm good.
Yeah, if that Maltese ran into the wall, I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of people have toy dogs as their first dogs. And like I said, or like you said, they are becoming probably a lot more
Yeah.
popular.
Yeah, because I think it's because all the houses are getting smaller now.
Do you know? Because I don't know.
Oh god, this is going
This
to
is
be
a
a
question,
difficult
and
question.
let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. Is a Frenchie considered a toy dog? Do you know off the
No.
top of your head? Okay.
No.
Because I know those are becoming very popular because they're a lot smaller and all of that, so I wasn't sure.
But Frenchie is technically a non-sporting dog.
Oh,
it's
okay.
not a toy dog.
Okay.
I think it's because maybe their size, they're quite bulky.
Well, yeah. Well,
And they're more of bulldog, right? And bulldogs are non-sporting dogs as well.
I was just trying to think of like a popular dog breed that people are getting.
Yeah, they don't technically belong to the toy dog group, but it's a very valid question.
It's probably good for people that have, I mean, like us, you know, I guess as kids, we wanted a dog, so it's a safe bet. When you're like, I don't know if we can handle a dog, so let's just get, you know.
Let's get
if you're someone who like didn't want as an adult and you're like, I don't really want a dog, but I think it would be good for my kids, then yeah, they probably get a toy dog. I think my parents never really wanted one. We got one because our uncle was the one who had Shih Tzus and they had puppies.
Well, that's the thing. You don't really... Toy dogs are really trainable, to be honest.
Yes, but
they're very clever, but the type of people that get the toy dog, you know, they don't really want to or have the time because they live that busy lifestyle. So they want a low maintenance dog that they don't really have to teach anything, but it's still that companion.
Yeah, and it's good, I guess, for the kids because then it like teaches them to responsibility. Well, hopefully
well,
it does.
If you think about it, a lot of toy poodles, they're performing dogs. They perform a lot of tricks and they're in circus as well. Yeah. Quite often you find poodles doing various tricks like on a ball and stuff, right?
True. Yeah.
Or like pushing a pram or something. Like
a stroller.
A stroller, sorry.
For the North American listeners, a stroller. For the European or UK,
yeah. So they are trainable as long as you don't mind bending down all the time to treat them, you know, because they're so tiny.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
And another con, I guess, to that dog group is the fact that quite often toy dogs tend to think that they are bigger than they actually are.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like, you know, they could develop a small man syndrome and basically just try to go after bigger dogs or like be a bit yappy towards them, which then could turn into some accidents because, you know, they could get attacked by like a slightly bigger dog and get, you know, fragile dogs. They could end up in a vet hospital or whatever.
Yeah,
that's one of the disadvantages.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Teach your toy dog to basically
do basic obedience.
All the dogs of all sizes.
All dogs, you should be doing a basic obedience at least. Come on.
Exactly. But no, they get scared, right? Because there's a bigger dog and maybe that dog doesn't know how to behave around toy dogs or whatever. So that's another reason why we do get some of the toy dogs to play with Maple so that she knows that this is a smaller dog or I know how to play with it. Because she did think at the start that this little Maltese was a toy.
Yes.
She was like trying to grab it. I'm like,
well, she's smaller than some of her toys. Maple's not even a big dog, but she has bigger toys than that dog.
But she like started to get down to her level and really like interact on.
That's bigger than.
Yeah, I know it is. She's tiny. So. Yeah, so that's it about the toy dogs.
Okay. Yeah, great dogs. Yeah, great dogs for first timers, but yeah.
All right, let's talk about the next group, which is, I believe, herding dogs.
Yep. So the next group we'll be talking about are herding dogs. So they were bred to control a variety of livestock. So to herd things like sheep, cattle, things like that. They are always on the move and in pursuit of their duties. So they're very kind of like active dogs and are constantly trying to do something. Herding dogs are basically tireless that crave attention all the time. I mean, we've seen a lot of herding dogs that are just
I mean, I don't think it's true for all herding dogs, but I know that some Aussies really do have some serious separation anxieties and like they're like Velcro dogs.
So, and then they're also very extremely intelligent, like, well, certain ones especially, and very agile. So you do see them in
all the time.
Sports, agility. Literally agile agility, you know, it's what they're bred for.
To be honest, here in Calgary, like I don't see too many border collies. I see a lot of Aussie shepherds.
Yeah. So those are two of the examples that we'll go into. So that's okay. So yeah, border collies is one that's popular. Australian shepherds, Australian cattle dog. I mean, hence the names in a sense. But now this is the interesting part. So Belgian Malinois and German Shepherds are considered herding dogs. What? But they're commonly only used for police like police force,
Yeah,
like you
that's
were
what
bringing
I
up.
thought.
And so, but that's what it's kind of meant. They're meant to like, I guess, chase down
The
and,
bad
like,
guys.
find things, and
Yeah.
so it's very interesting. So I know they're not herding dogs, working dogs, but herding dogs only became, this is a quick fact, but herding dogs became an official group in like the 1980s.
Oh,
So before that, herding dogs used to be working dogs, but they created a new category for them. And funny enough, they put the Malinois and German Shepherds
in that group?
in that group.
No way.
So it is weird. I don't know why, because I double checked
Are
that.
you sure?
Because when we were talking about it the other day, we thought German Shepherds were in the working dogs group. So
Yeah.
then I was doing some research. So on the AKC website and the CK, well, I'm pretty sure the CKC website as well, when you click the category of herding dogs, yeah, German Shepherd is under there, but not under working dogs.
Wow.
So yes, so very interesting.
I would have never thought that a German Shepherd is like...
Well, see, I was going to quiz you
well,
on that.
it's a shepherd, which makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yes, there you go.
Australian Shepherd, right? The shepherds. So, like, it does make sense.
Yeah.
But, like, in my mind, when I think of a German Shepherd, I think of, like, a police dog, right? A dog that...
Yeah, so they're not in the
you
sense
know,
of like
it's
herding.
a sniffer dog as
Yeah.
well, right?
So, but they're also used to guard the livestock.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where their work in a farm would be like to, yeah.
I
Would
have
be on the
never
farm
seen a
guarding
German
the-
Shepherd
guarding livestock.
like
Maybe
trying to
someone else.
herd the sheep.
No, they wouldn't herd them, but they watch them. So they
Yeah,
maybe
they're like
hang
watchdogs.
out outside of the barns or wherever people
Yeah.
leave their livestock.
Wow, that's
So,
interesting.
Yeah. So that's why that's why I didn't want to use that as one of my quiz questions, because I knew you would have got it wrong, but then I didn't want to explain why you got it wrong until we got to it.
That makes sense.
Because that would have been a trick there. But then
you
also,
know, there's like over 250 breeds you
Oh,
could
yeah.
have used,
Oh,
right?
yeah. So, but then one interesting thing, so their herding instinct is like so strong, the herding part of the dogs, not the German Shepherds, that they're known to herd like family members and especially children. So you see things where, someone who has a bunch of kids, they'll try to, circle around them all the time and keep them together.
I had a friend back in England that had a border collie, and when we used to, we would sometimes go out and I would walk this dog with her, and the border collie would literally run and then come back and then run and come back all the time, and it was driving her crazy. She was like, just go straight, just go ahead of us.
Oh,
but
wow.
no, it would just like constantly circle and try to get you to go towards a certain way. So yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
But does that mean that they might not be suitable for families with kids?
Well, it depends on, they got to be well trained. So I guess we'll do one of the negative things, the cons of them first, and to be on that topic. So yeah, one of them is they may try to herd people, and then they need a lot of mental stimulation to stop it. So I think the Australian cattle dog, I think the way that one herds is they like nip at the feet of cattle and things like that.
Yeah,
So,
they're a little bit more aggressive when it comes to herding.
yeah, so they get closer, and that's how they get it. So there is the kind of danger, and again, it's nipping. It's not biting or anything like that.
Yeah,
But there is that
it's like
problem that they might
controlled.
be nipping at it. So they definitely need that stimulation. They need the physical, they need the mental. They constantly need to be doing something.
That's probably why a lot of trainers have those type of dogs. Which
Well,
is
they're very trainable.
cheating.
Yeah, they're very, very trainable. But so I don't know if you were at that class. So on the topic of one of them, not like a border collie or an Aussie, when Maple was in a flyball class, one of the ladies had a Belgian Malinois.
Yes.
And so that dog was so crazy and full of energy that the lessons we were doing was them jumping over the 4 jumps from the ball. But because this woman, it was her husband that mainly controlled the dog. So they had to block off a whole corner of the training facility, because if that dog got loose, he was so
You
hard
would
to
have
catch.
not been able to
he or
catch
she.
him.
And so all he did, and he just ran around in circles. Ran around in circles.
Like that's
It
how
was
you
crazy.
know you have a herding dog.
Yeah.
It's the circles.
It
constant.
was just, it was so like kind of funny to see, but I'm just like, and we were talking, we know, well, I don't know them, but we've seen a couple of them in dock diving as well, and they're just like
They are
crazy.
crazy.
They are crazy, very like high energy, a lot of work dogs. I mean, not for us, but I guess, a pro with them is they are obviously very active family members. They, lots of people that do have Border Collies and Australian Shepherds, they're just so lovable with families. I know we've boarded in daycare a couple of Aussies, and they're just like the most loving kind of family members ever.
They have that smile, the Aussie smile.
Oh yeah, I know the one.
That's like it's showing teeth, like very prominently, almost as if they're about to like. Yeah. It looks quite aggressive.
I
to
know,
be
but
honest,
then once
but
you realize,
not.
it's like it's adorable.
And it's just her like smiling. It's the Aussie smile.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
And then they have great agility, obviously, which is they're just very agile. They're very quick. They're very good at obviously sports, which again, is you see a lot of them in. Sports. And yes, a lot of trainers have them because they are very easy, especially Border Collies specifically. I think they're one of the most intelligent dogs. Yeah, I think they're the most intelligent breed and the easiest to train, but involve a lot of work. It's not just a train and let alone. It's
which is perfect for trainers, right?
Yeah, that's their job.
I still think it's cheating though.
Yeah. I mean,
try get trainers to have a pug. And do all these crazy things.
Well, I guess.
Or a Yorkshire Terrier or a Westie, right?
That's true. Well, yeah.
So, you don't see those a lot. But anyway, talking about Westies, are we okay to move on?
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, that's herding dogs. A lot of people do know they're quite popular. But yeah, I guess for lifestyle-wise, it's just lots of space. They need a lot of space. They're not an apartment dog. Sport dogs, you can kind of get away with a little bit of maybe living in a condo or something like that. But a herding dog, you need a yard. You need access to dog parks or something like that. Like they need a lot of space and a lot of exercise. So they're not meant for. I mean, they can be first-time owner dogs. I know people that have Australian Shepherds as a first dog. But like
any dog can adapt to certain situations. But really, if you want to keep that breed happy, then, just take it out, let it run.
Well, so the Aussie that we've did daycare, they hardly walked her. Do you remember he said? He's like, we take her for a walk a couple times a week. So we're like, this poor dog, it's like not that it gets shoved in a crate or, kennel.
Like,
they have a backyard, they got but it's just they don't like actively. So we always take her to the mountains every time we have her. Because it's
and she's so excited. She has a harness, which I don't agree with. And like your arm is hurting.
Well, they don't
so
walk her
bad.
very much, but it's interesting though. So like, you can, like I said, they have kids and all of that. So they're great family companions.
So
but
they can adapt to like a family environment and be good with kids and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's all for herding dogs for this episode. So we'll move on to the next one if you want to.
So Terrier dogs are
crazy.
The rascals of the dog world. Is
that like an official thing? Rascals of the dog world?
No, this is just my thing.
Okay, I didn't know.
Why I call them. I call them the rascals just because they're like, that's what they are.
Yeah,
okay.
Fair enough.
So they were bred originally to chase and dig after small rodents and like small animals and stuff. So like rats, mice, snakes, maybe. I don't know. Anything small in the ground, that's kind of their territory. So, yes, they range in sizes and shapes, but they all kind of have this really feisty personality to them. Yeah. That's something that they share. Yeah, and they're quite mischievous. Okay. They will really test you, which is really interesting. But they also have this energetic kind of nature. So, they're very happy dogs. They're not just little, I want to say, what's the different word for like rascal? They're rascals.
Not just little terrors.
Terriers. Terriers. That's good.
There you go.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So they are actually trainable and highly intelligent. It's just they're kind of like, let's say there's a sporting dog and they're like, oh, tell me what to do. I want to please you. I want to do what you tell me to do.
Yes.
And the terriers are like, did you say something? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can tell them to do something, but they're going to be like, oh, I'll think about it.
So not stubborn, but just don't want to listen in a sense.
Yeah, a little bit like that. So they're
like a teenager.
independent
like a
thinkers. Yeah. kind of like rebellious at times. So actually this one time I was talking to a woman at a dog show, and she had a rat terrier.
Oh, yes.
And she said to me that try to get a terrier to do anything, you'll be very lucky, because they're just like, one day they can wake up and be like, nah, not happening. Yeah. I'm not doing anything that you say. They just have this selective hearing, and, you know, their own mind, basically.
Yeah. So quickly to go back, sort of just more to elaborate a little bit, the first point, the kind of, not hunting, but the digging.
Yes,
so they did,
that's a big disadvantage of having
I didn't
a terrier.
know, but then once I kind of found that out, I was like, okay, it makes sense from the terriers I've seen.
Yes, so basically, if you have a pretty backyard, do not get a terrier, because they have this really deep desire to dig. It's just something that's ingrained in them, in all the terriers
as well.
Yeah. So they want to find, you know, maybe even little bugs and stuff. Maybe that's what they, you know, they're after too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do not get a terrier if you have a pretty backyard. You might want to put all your plants up somewhere. But that also brings me to another thing with terriers, is that they may not get along with other pets in your house, because if you have birds or little, you know, hamsters or whatever, they will want to chase it and probably kill it. Yeah. So they have this really strong prey drive. So quite often it's important to teach your terrier not to chase everything that moves, because they will want to. Okay. That's just something that's ingrained in them, right? And also they tend to be quite territorial. So they will guard like their space and their people all the time. So that's another disadvantage of terriers. I mean, not all of them are like this, but this is just like a general, I guess, of what terriers are like. But I guess like an advantage of it is that they have this love for life, and they're super energetic, but in a small package. Yes. Which is nice. Yeah. It's like, okay, I have this, you know, super lively and energetic dog that I can train, but they're smaller than other dogs.
A lot easier to take around with you, or, you know, okay.
But I wouldn't say they're the type of dogs for like, for someone who wants like an easy dog.
Yeah. No, I knew growing up, this
They're quite
kid,
stubborn.
They
can
friend when
be.
I was younger, and you would go to the door and ring the doorbell, and just within I don't even think you would ring the doorbell, and I would be right there barking, jumping at the door, and all. But then you would go in, and it was just like the nicest, friendliest dog, but it was just like who's there?
So you also don't see terriers often as part of the obedience competitions or like training. You don't really see them because it's so very hard to get a terrier to be obedient.
Yeah, they could be
you.
Great one day, and then the next day be like, nah, not feeling
like
it.
Like the loyal dogs, and they will love you. It's just they kind of like just their own. They like to do their own thing. Yeah. So it's like hit and miss with them, I think.
Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, I forgot to mention the examples.
Oh, yes.
So some of the examples of terriers is like Jack Russell, Bull Terriers, Amstaffs, Border Terriers.
Yeah.
Anything terrier really, just
except
not Yorkshire Terrier. So yeah, those are the dogs. Okay. So like as you can see, they're kind of all different sizes and different shapes and sizes, but they all kind of have those personality traits.
Interesting. Yeah, not a dog for me, to be honest, but that's just, again, based on our opinion. It's not kind of what
I don't have the patience for it. Like, you just need a lot of patience for these type of dogs.
Well, like I said, we wanted one to take on hikes and to do activities with. So
I mean, I guess they could like, they're up for doing anything with you, terriers.
That's true. Guess we shouldn't judge. We don't have one, so we don't know personally. So,
but from what I've heard from like other people that have them, they always make a joke about. Like,
yes, they do. They do actually.
Just how like disobedient
it's
they
like,
are.
Oh, don't get one.
Testing your patience and things like that, like rascals and little Terriers.
Yeah. Well, and they're like, oh, you don't get one, but then they'll get another one a month later kind of thing.
Because they're like lovable terriers, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes a bit of terror is not such a bad thing.
Yes, that's so true. That's interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, that's all about terriers from me.
Okay, perfect. We'll move on to the next one.
Okay, so let's continue to our second to last dog breed group.
Yeah, which are the Hound Dogs, or the Hound Dog group. So Hound Dogs are known for their exceptional tracking ability. So they're also they are considered hunting dogs. And they were considered the very first hunting dog. So obviously we know sports dogs are hunting dogs, but Hound Dogs started as hunting dogs first, but more of the tracking side than the retrieving side, like retrievers do.
That's interesting. I didn't know that actually, but what I do know is that hound dogs' smell is actually 40 times more sensitive and like better than our smell.
That's crazy. I mean, I believe that because that's what they're meant for. So that kind of puts them in, there's kind of two brackets that they fall in. And one is they hunt by sight. So they have extremely good sight, or they hunt by scent. So not all of them will go by the scent, depending on which breed it is. A couple examples are bloodhound, coonhound, and beagles. And I think beagles are probably the most popular.
And foxhounds.
Yes, pretty much.
There's a lot of hounds.
It has hound in the name. Don't quote me on that, because obviously like the terrier incident. But yeah, most of the hound dogs are under that category. And again, as we were mentioning, beagles, which are more popular. They're a lot more popular pets than hounds. A lot of people that do have hounds actually hunt, and they use them for their tracking ability.
Which is weird, because technically a dachshund is considered a hound.
Yes, I think they are. Are they under that bracket?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I know we were looking that up.
I think that means a hound.
Yeah.
But they're like just so small.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think of them to be a hound and to have such a great like tracking ability.
Yeah, I guess, but that's the thing. It doesn't matter the size, because they're not chasing things. They're finding things.
Yeah.
They're like finding the tracks. They're seeing things. So yeah, that's one of the pros of them is they're excellent scent tracking. So if you ever do scent detection or anything with your dog, that's what they're good for. I imagine they're good at potentially like kind of drug sniffing dogs. I would assume they're quite
working
popular
at
there.
airports and stuff.
Yeah. One of the bad... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Also, what I heard about... Well, dachshunds are like incredibly just interesting dogs on its own, shape and everything. Yeah. But apparently they're not apartment dogs. Even though their size is so small, they're not meant for apartments.
Oh, yes. You were telling me. We were talking about that the other day, actually, and it was quite surprising because everyone sees them as like cute little small sausage dogs or wiener dogs.
They're not meant to be living in apartments, technically.
Yeah. I think like what they're originally bred for was not to be kind of, enclosed.
Confined space.
Yeah. But hound dogs can be very stubborn. They also have a very strong prey drive. So they're not meant to ever be like walking off leash, because if they pick up a scent or see something, they're gone, because that's what they do. And so they're not very good, because they don't know what they're going to smell. They could be a rabbit or any sort of thing. So an open off leash area, it's not good to have them off leash, because their instincts will take over. Just like, I guess, some other like herding dogs or whatever, if they see things to herd.
I guess it's like trainable to a certain extent, right?
Yeah,
but like the instinct will always win. Like that's the thing, the nature versus nurture, right? But so that's for another episode.
Of course. But then you need a lot of patience in training them. So because they are so ingrained, and I feel like
a bit like terriers.
Well, and I feel like now this is just my speculation that I think because they're not as popular, I don't think they're as domesticated as a lot of the other groups. Yeah. Because you don't see a lot of people that have hound dogs as pets. It's like farmers that have them for hunting. It's other than beagles, but still, we don't know too many people that have them. So I think that's why they're really hard to train, because they still, I think, have a lot of their original
like primal sort of
kind
instincts
and characteristics from hundreds of years ago, or whenever they came to be. So
that's how you preserve the genetics, right? And the standard of the breed is to do that.
Because even when you go to obviously we've been to dog shows, you don't see too many of them at dog shows either.
I've never seen a bloodhound at a dog show. I've seen beagles.
Yeah,
before.
that's why I think the beagle is. That's why it's probably the most popular and the most like
But
domesticated
yeah, you're
version.
right. I've not actually seen too many hounds.
No, so I think that's kind of
Maybe
why
because
they're
like
not.
you can't really make them do what they don't want to do.
Yeah, they're not as domesticated, I don't think. And imagine a hound with all these other dogs with all the smells. They'd go crazy.
Yeah, they
The
would just
scents
pick
or
up the
just seeing
smell on the
things.
grass or something and just, off we go.
So it takes I think they obviously are good for the people that want them for the reason they were bred for, and it's like tracking.
Yeah.
Not just hunting, depending on the type of hunting. Like you wouldn't get them to go and lure birds out for you,
Yeah,
but if
but
you're
a
trying
lot
to
of
find
police people, like policemen, use hounds.
Well, for
to like
scent.
find like lost people and stuff like that. I see them on TV all the time because I'm really into true crime. So
Yes.
like obviously you see
Yeah.
hounds on there.
Well, that's what we were talking about. We
to
don't see. That's what we
find-
were saying. I was like, I don't really see them, and you're like, oh, I see them on TV a lot, and I guess those are the type of shows you watch.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting one. Again, we not too much information on them because I guess, like, as I mentioned, they're not as domesticated, so
Yeah.
there's not as much information widely available. But we will be diving deeper into it, and we'll be doing some research. And if anyone's listening has a hound dog and want to give us some insight, then please.
There's one interesting fact that I heard from one person that I spoke to is that they would never get a hound because apparently hounds like are more prone to eating poo.
Oh, that's I mean, I don't.
Which I don't know if it's true or whether
anyone
that was
knows-
just one person's speculation about the hound group in general. But that's just something quick.
I'm
I've
curious.
heard.
So if you are watching this on YouTube, or even if you're listening to this and you want to head over to the YouTube video, leave a comment below. I am curious. Is that a thing? Because that's a strange statistic.
I know all dogs do
Yeah, well, of
tend to
course.
eat poo from time to time or whatever, which is gross, but it's just a normal thing.
That's interesting.
But I heard that hounds specifically are more prone to it.
Okay, I don't know. And that's interesting. But on that note, I guess we'll end the hound group. If you want to move on to the last one we'll be speaking about today.
So the last group is a non-sporting group, which is technically known as the other. So that's what I called it, aka the other. So it's basically when the breed doesn't quite fit into any other
six.
groups. So you have like all sorts of diverse spectrum of breeds in there, and one of the most famous ones are Frenchies, Bulldogs, Chow Chows, Dalmatians, even Boston Terrier.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's not a terrier. They're technically a non-sporting group. I'm not entirely sure why. Like, this is all very interesting. And also poodles. Like a stand-up poodle.
Yes.
Which is also odd to me because poodles have a coat that's meant for water. Like, they're technically water dogs from what I read. So I would think there would be a sporting dog since they have some of these characteristics, but maybe they don't quite fit into that group,
I guess
which is
that's the thing,
why
yeah.
they're put into other.
So I think that's what the non-sporting group is. It's like they don't have any strong characteristics for that one group, but they might have, for example, the kind of waterproof coat, but they don't really have the hunting prey drive that a sporting dog would, so it doesn't make sense. And then, for example, some of the dogs you might think were toy dogs because they're small, but they're not really. So
they don't
that's
quite
interesting.
fit into that group fully, so they're put into the non-sporting group.
Yeah.
So I guess what makes it interesting is that this group of dogs, the other, is kind of like a clean slate. Like you can make it do anything. You can train it to do anything.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, they're not really meant for one thing in particular. So they could be, a good family dog if you train it to be that way. Or they could do certain sports if you really wanted to do those things. So that's quite a positive thing about...
We know that Boston Terrier that does dock diving.
Yeah, very weird.
They love it. His
But it's not a
owners are just
sporting
like
dog.
they do
It's
it all
not
the
a
time.
toy dog. It's just the other group
Yeah.
that is so... Yeah, so it's like a quite individualistic group of dogs that just have different characteristics. They don't really fit into a certain box, let's just say.
And I guess they come in obviously all sizes, so they can be small, like toy style, to large dogs. So
like a standard poodle, like it's quite large. Also Dalmatians are, medium sized to large breed. Bulldogs can be, big. They can be small.
I'm surprised. I would have thought a bulldog, would have been under like the
but
working
they make,
dog.
in general, like it's very hard to generalize this dog group because it's so diverse. But oftentimes they make like good watchdogs, let's say. Yeah. So they can like guard or watch over things, like watch your property, for instance. But also makes it like a advantage of this dog breed group is that they're very adaptable. Yeah. So they can adapt to different situations, which can fit quite various lifestyles. So if, like for instance, if you are gone away from home for 8 hours a day, like you would probably get a dog that's either a toy dog or maybe a non-sporting dog. Because if you do work a lot outside from home, like you wouldn't get a herding dog or a sporting dog because those dogs are high maintenance, whereas these are possibly less. Like you can make it adapt to your living situation.
And I guess it's one of those things, if if you're thinking of getting a dog and none of the groups we already talked about resonated with you, or like none of them were like, that's the kind of dog I want, then that's where the non-sporting group would fit you, which is, again, dozens and dozens of dog breeds that fall under that.
There's so many. But one of the, I guess, disadvantages of it is that there could be potential health issues due to the diverse genetic backgrounds. So those dogs were kind of, so it's interesting because non-sporting group doesn't actually include mixed breed dogs. So there are purebred dogs
this is all purebreds,
with diverse genetic backgrounds.
Yes.
So quite often these dogs do have certain like pre-assigned health problems that could arise when they're older.
Okay, just based on that. Yeah, okay.
Like their genetic background and how they were bred. So that's one of the cons of this group, but it's very hard to talk about it because it's so diverse.
Well, it's so diverse, it'd be very hard. I mean, we'll try to have an episode specifically on non-sporting dogs the best we can, but that's the thing. You're really just talking about all the other groups combined,
that don't fit into
but not
the
fully.
boxes.
So it's just a mess.
Yeah. It's the other.
The others, which isn't a bad thing. Like, don't think we're not making it sound like you have a non-sporting dog. It's just
just like they can adapt to anything, right?
So you said the Frenchie is under the and see, so that's funny. That is now officially in the United States the most popular dog. It has dethroned the Labrador Retriever, who held that spot for 12 years, 20 years. I can't remember. Such a long time. Yeah. So it's starting to become, because just people's lifestyles are changing. So a lot more non-sporting dogs are becoming more popular because people don't have their giant houses with huge yards. And,
and a lot of people work a lot, and Frenchies are lower maintenance than a sporting dog, such as a Labrador. Yeah. So that's what makes them good, right? And Boston Terriers as well. They can probably be left alone most of the time if this is what you adapt them to. Yeah. So... yeah, there's not much to say about it.
Well, there's a lot to say, but then nothing to say. It's like that. Not enough that we can...
Because they're all so different, like a Dalmatian and, a Bulldog or a Frenchie or a Chow Chow.
Well, exactly.
And they come from such different backgrounds, and they've been bred everywhere in the world. It's hard to pinpoint of what exactly they were bred for, because they weren't bred for in specific for anything.
So it's hard to
that
narrow
fits
it down
into the groups that we talked about.
And I think that's the point of it. It's just the one, if it's more of check the other groups out first. If none of those resonate with you, or that's the type of dog you want, then the only other option is the non-sporting group or not a dog at all, I guess, really.
No, I think it's important to kind of categorize dogs purely so that you can understand your dog better, right?
Yes, of course.
Like if you have a sporting dog and it constantly wants to play because it's a retriever, like you can understand that, but then you can, if this is not a desirable thing, you can kind of work on it, but still don't be angry if
Your
they
dog
want
is
to have something in the mouth, right?
Chasing a bird. Every time they see a bird, they want to chase after it. It's like, well, that's the type of dog you got.
Yeah, it's like understandable, right? Like you can... But you can work on it, you can fix it, so to minimize those instincts that are inherently in them. But it's still there, so you need to understand that and be like, okay, like I get it. I've got a bird dog. Yeah. It likes birds. Yeah. We're working on it, so it doesn't like chase a bird every time it sees it. But I get why this happens. I think that the understanding bit is probably most important. So yeah, on that note, I think that's it about non-sporting group.
Yeah, so that's the 7 we went through. So just a summary, we have the sporting group, the working dogs, the toy dogs, herding dogs.
Toy dogs?
No, I said that one.
Terriers?
Terrier dogs. Toy and terrier I get mixed up because they're both kind of small. Hound dogs and non-sporting dogs. So yeah, there's the 7. So yeah, I guess just to kind of wrap up this episode, so we kind of wanted to talk about those just so then you can kind of consider the information we gave you. And again, it's kind of surface level. If one of them resonates with you some more, definitely dig deeper into learning about them. We will be talking about each group in some more detail and giving more examples of the dogs, more what they're bred for, potentially health problems, if there is any in those groups. I don't know yet because we haven't done enough research. So definitely something to consider. Anything you want to quickly add just on... No? Just also want to remind you, we are still having the giveaway running. It's still till the end of January 2024. So if you haven't watched the other episodes or didn't enter, you can enter the giveaway. We'll be giving away a t-shirt, a coffee mug for a dog mom or a dog dad, and this cute balloon dog keychain. To enter the giveaway, all you have to do is go to bit.ly/woofy, which is bit.ly/WOOFI. There you can just enter your email address to enter the giveaway, and then we have some other options to get some bonus entries, like subscribing to the show. And actually, even if you've already entered the giveaway and you haven't subscribed or followed our show, please do. That would be greatly appreciated. So we know you're liking the content, so we can keep putting out some more information.
If like we forgot about something or you have something to add or anything like that, like we are obviously very open to learning and finding out more. Yeah. And also, if you comment on our videos, that gives you some bonus entry points to our giveaway. Yeah. So that's kind of win-win.
Yeah. So yeah. And if there's something in a specific group that you want the world to know and we didn't cover it, not saying we won't cover it, but yeah, just comment on the YouTube video. I'm not sure if there's an option on the audio one yet. We'll see. Depending on by the time this comes out, there might be a way to respond to a comment or to ask
I'm
a
sure
question.
There is something like a little chat box.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. But definitely the YouTube video and our YouTube channel will be linked in our like kind of page description and all of that kind of stuff, so you can leave a comment. Because yeah, we would love to know what you have to add, and we will definitely let people know that so-and-so told us this, just so then if someone else comes at us and we're wrong, then they could
we'll blame you. We'll be like, kidding. Well, so-and-so said that.
But yeah, we want to thank you for listening, and hopefully you learned something. I mean, we both learned something, even though we even did research about this together, but we still learned something as we talked about it. So we hope you learned something as well. And that's all for this episode.
Yes, thank you so much, and see you next time.
Bye for now.
Bye.